The International Trade Court, consisting of a 3-judge panel, has blocked most of President Trump's trade tariffs. They ruled that the president does not have the authority to impose sweeping tariffs.
The judges found that Trump's use of the decades-old International Emergency Economic Powers Act did not, quote, delegate an unbounded tariff authority to the president, and that Trump's tariffs lacked, quote, any identifiable limits. Lawyers for the Trump administration have already said that they will appeal. A little more background on the Court of International Trade. It was established under Article 3 of the Constitution. According to its government website, the court has nationwide jurisdiction over civil actions arising out of the customs and international trade laws of the United States.
The tariffs, as imposed via executive order, are invalid and contrary to law. In a nutshell, Trump does not have the authority to impose tariffs, and what he did was unconstitutional and illegal. The president is permitted to continue his tariffs on specific items like steel and autos, but he cannot continue to do broad-based national tariffs on individual nations.
If tariffs imposed on plaintiffs during these appeals are ultimately held unlawful, then the government will issue refunds to plaintiffs, including any post-judgment interest that accrues. And a huge amount of interest could accrue on the tariffs that have already been paid. So there's Donald Trump's promise in writing that if and when he loses this case in the final adjudication by the appeals court or by the United States Supreme Court, all of the illegally collected tariff money by Donald Trump, all of it collected from Americans and American businesses and only American businesses, all of the Trump tariffs will be refunded to those Americans who paid those illegal tariffs. The Treasury of the United States, where that money was collected, knows exactly how to issue refunds. They issue refunds to many of you, millions of you, every year after you file your tax returns and you show that more money has been withheld from your paychecks for taxes during the year than you actually owe. The Treasury sends out millions upon millions upon millions of such tax refunds every single year. Treasury knows how to do refunds. And now, when Donald Trump loses this case, the Treasury will be busy sending out billions of dollars in Trump tariff refunds. And without Donald Trump's promise today to refund that money, it is very unlikely that the appeals court would have granted the Trump side of the case a pause in being subject to the ruling made by the federal judges on the International Court of Trade Court, who know more about international trade than any other judges in our federal system. The very first federal case in a federal court in the United States of America was an international trade case. Litigation of international trade became increasingly more complex over the centuries. And in the 20th century, Congress decided it was time to create a unique federal court with expertise and jurisdiction over international trade cases. In 1926, Congress created the United States Customs Court, and in 1980, with the jet engine having brought international trade to the threshold of true global trade, the Congress clarified and enhanced the standing of the Customs Court and changed its name to the United States Court of International Trade. Democratic Senator Dennis DeConcini, who sponsored the legislation, said the new court would be, quote, a vastly improved forum for judicial review of administrative actions of government agencies dealing with importations. The provisions make it clear to those who suffer injury in this area that they may seek redress in a court, and if they are successful, the Court of International Trade will be able to afford them relief, which is appropriate and necessary to make them whole. And so today, Donald Trump, through his lawyers, had to promise to make them whole, had to promise to refund all of the Trump tariffs paid so far, if and when they are found to be illegal and unconstitutional in a final court ruling. And so, as many humiliation days as Donald Trump has had since he started his failed trade war, Refund Day will be the ultimate humiliation day at the end of Donald Trump's disastrous trade war. Refund Day is coming, and it will be the most humiliating day Donald Trump will suffer in his losing trade war. Tonight, Donald Trump humiliated himself once again by showing how irreversibly stupid and flawlessly ignorant he is.
Yes, this is Alan talking, but I couldn't have said it better myself.